Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My friends, Allah bless you all. Okay, let's start. Al-Fatiha. إياك نعبد اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد صلاة تفرحه وتسعده وترضيه واجزه بها عنا ما هو أهله يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم زدنا ولا تنقصنا وأكرمنا ولا تهنا وأعطنا ولا تحرمنا وآثرنا ولا تؤثر علينا وأرضنا وارض عنا يا كريم. So, Alhamdulillah, we were looking at the story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, and the last point we got to was the admission by the brothers that we first see of their resentment towards Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. And what it was is that Shaitan had manipulated them, duped them. Have you noticed also that you can see when the devil's involved, when people's reactions are over the top? Because what happens, he comes and he presents images and ideas in their head, so they overthink the whole issue, and something that's just a small matter seems just like huge, and you see someone raging and really extremely angry about a matter that if they just thought about it, on a cold, in a calm and collected way, without the heat of the anger, if they thought about it like that, they realize, well, yeah, okay, it's not that big a deal. He's our younger brother. They're grown men, they're grown adults, and they're acting like he's come and deprived them of their father's love and company. No, you've had it all your lives. You had it when you were younger. Now he's a young child, and Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam is showing him fatherly affection. What wrong is there in that? There isn't. But this is the nature of it. So what happens? What do they say? اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا يخل لكم وجه أبيكم وتكونوا من بعده قوما صالحين. Kill Joseph or cast him to some distant land so that our fathers, or so that your father's attention actually will be purely yours, you could say, and then after that you may repent and become righteous people. So this is what the idea was. One of them suggested this, uqtulu Yusuf, right? As we said, you can say Yusuf or Yusuf. So uqtulu Yusuf, kill Yusuf, they were saying. And imagine this is what I said about extreme responses in even in revenge. Revenge sometimes is justified in Islam. We have the whole thing of the killing of the murder of a relative, which is perfectly justified. Forgiveness is a higher way, but it is possible there. There's the qawad, someone harms you, like someone wants to chop off another's arm, then his arm is chopped off, his hand is chopped off, as long as you can maintain fairness in the injury, so it's not so the second injury on the first person isn't exacerbated and worse, then revenge does have its place, because people can't heal if you just forced people. Scenarios are different, but if you just force people to forgive, then people don't have closure, they don't heal. But here there's no need for it whatsoever. So you can tell that Shaitan's come and he's spun the matter around in their minds so much that they think it's so bad, and that Yusuf's crime, quote unquote, as they see it, that Yusuf is so bad in their eyes that he deserves to be killed. Uqtulu Yusuf, first suggestion. أو اطرحوه أرضا, or toss him in a land, even though tarh, just tossing something you don't care about. Throw him away, throw him in a land that's far away, right, in a distant land. And throwing someone, killing someone is bad enough, right, and it's a heinous thing. But throwing someone in a distant land, especially a young child, is also heinous. That what's going to happen? He's probably going to get either die from malnutrition or die from being harmed by someone, or you know enslaved. Something like this is going to happen. And ghurba, most people don't realize it. In the past, there wasn't a police force, there wasn't an army, to protect the people. It was, you were protected by your own clan, you were protected by your tribe. And if you lost that, then you lost a lot of things. Imam Alusi, he says, they suggested this, and what a thing they suggested, because it's extremely difficult. No one to protect you, and just being in a distant land, it's a very hard experience. So, what is their assumed, benefit, and what do they want from all this? يَخْلُ لَكُمْ وَجْهُ أَبِيكُمْ. Your father's face will be clear for you. Like, it's as though the imagery is Sayyidina Yaqub is there in front of them, but they can't see him, and especially his face, because when you give someone attention, you give it with your face. You look at them, you smile at them, and so there's this interaction through faces. So it's as though Sayyidina Yaqub is there. They're all craving his love and attention, but his face is being blocked by Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Binyamin as well, but he's not the issue. In their eyes, it's Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. So he's just saying that yakhlu lakum, your father's face will no longer be blocked. It'll be clear, like it'll be empty of, the view will be empty of all obstacles. This is the grown men. And yes, people need to, feel, people love their parents right until old age. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but as a person is developing as a child, that need for validation, that need for love and support and care and expression of love the need is much stronger in children. And people, by the time they get to adults, especially, they will have had a good upbringing from Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. It's not the same. So why are they acting like children, right? They're acting, it's shaitan, it's Iblis. He's come and he doesn't like this, so especially the children of prophets, so he tries his best to stir up some problems. And this is it. It's all delusion. It's an assumed and imagined problem that is so bad in their minds that they have to take drastic steps. And then so this is saying that do this, and then one of the two, and Yusuf won't be there anymore. There'll be no barrier between you being loved by your father. وَتَكُونُوا مِنْ بَعْدِهِ قَوْمًا صَالِحِينَ. Min ba'dihi, immediately after. That you can be, from takunu, you can truly be characterized and fully committed. Straight after doing this, you can immediately become really righteous people. Salihin. Not so Ibn Ashur has a position that it doesn't mean religious righteousness. No, it does mean that. So what their plan is, obviously they're gonna have had a religious discourse in their life, being the children of a prophet. But the idea was, yes, we know we're doing something wrong here, but let's just do this, and then afterwards, you can be good people, you can be righteous people, immediately make tawbah, and you can be, takunu. So this kana yakunu here, it gives this meaning of being rooted and firm. This is the innate quality. Qawman. Qawm also indicates, potential, and that they realize this potential of righteousness. وَتَكُونُوا مِن بَعْدِهِ. And after that, you can truly, fully, wholeheartedly be truly righteous people. Salihin, people that are right, people who do no good. Salah is the opposite of fasad, when something goes wrong. So people who are righteous and good and religious and devoted to God, who do no wrong, all they do is good. That's what they were saying. What is this? A trick of the devil. Iblis makes people think this is, what does he do? Do this wrong thing and you can make tawbah and you can be good after that. So, the whole question of, do the ends justify the means? No, they don't. Right? So if the means are wrong, then you don't expect the end to go right. Someone coming and wanting a good thing, but then they're going and harming people or doing something like this, it's not going to have a good end. And we see it. for decades. They're estranged from them. They might live with him, but that emotional bond of love is clearly not there, because although he still does love them as a father, but it's clear to him what they've done. And so the intended goal that they have won't happen. There's a huge lesson in this. Huge lesson in this. Do not take steps that are forbidden and wrong to try to get to a goal that you consider to be righteous. Here, even the goal is wrong. The steps are wrong, the goal is wrong, and then promising yourself, yeah, we'll change. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَحُولُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَقَلْبِهِ. Know that Allah can come between a man and his heart, meaning you might think, yeah, later I'll go, I'll do the wrong, I'll make a tawbah and I'll be fine, Allah will forgive me, everything's good. Who are you fooling? Who are you trying to fool, right? No one. You're not going to fool anyone here, because Allah knows what's in our hearts. So it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. So this was Shaitan's trick on them. So then one of them saw that maybe Allah inspiring him, or him just realizing, no, this is too far. Murder or something like that is too far. قال قائل منهم لا تقتلوا يوسف وألقوه في غيابة الجب, or another one غيابات, another قراءة, يلتقطه بعض السيارة إن كنتم فاعلين. One of them said, do not kill Joseph, but if you must, in kuntum fa'il, if you really are hell-bent on doing something, if you must do something, throw him into the bottom of a well, so perhaps he may be picked up by some travelers. Okay, so قال قائل منهم, one of them, who, it doesn't matter. The Quran has only given us two names of the children of Yaqub in the story of Yusuf and no, even Binyamin is not. Yeah, it's just Yusuf. Yeah, I don't believe Binyamin is in the surah. I could be mistaken. I don't think he is. Anyway, and so the details are not important. What you'll find in the biblical narrative, loads of extraneous details that just don't enhance the narrative in any way. Unlike the Quranic narrative, down to the point, perfect, and moving along in a way that where all the lessons are there, all the benefits, but nothing that's not related to guidance is mentioned. So, لا تقتلوا Yusuf, don't kill Yusuf, he said. And it clearly was the best of them to be able to overcome the devil's programming and to be able to say, no, this is a line we shouldn't cross. لا تقتلوا Yusuf, but do what you should do. وَأَلْقُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْجُبِّ. Throw in the ghayaba, it's the depth. From ghaib, something that's absent from you. So a jub is also, it's worth looking at these two. So the depths of a particular type of well. So what you have, they used to dig wells. So you dig a well to get to water. So, but they would dig, and when they found water, they would brick up the wall around the well. And so once they had built this wall inside it, then it won't collapse in, and so the source of water won't get blocked again. And it also helps in maintaining the cleanliness and the purity of the water. So so that's what they would do. And sometimes they would leave a little step at the bottom, so if someone did need to descend, then he's not going straight into the water. So this was their plan. Let's not throw him into a well. Anything could happen. Someone could drown. And so what happened is that he suggests throw him into this well that has this step, the ghayaba, and the wall of the well is not it's not bricked up. So that's why it's from jub. One of the meanings of jub is, the root meaning is to cut something. And so it's just being carved out of the ground, dug out basically. And it seems like what the ulama of Tafsir are saying, it seems like they had a particular one in mind, that because not every well is visited by travelers, so it's a particular one on a route. It must have been a fair distance away, to minimize the chances of them being seen, or Sayyidina Yaqub getting there, or sending someone else. So they had a particular one well in mind. So throw him there. يَلْتَقِطْهُ بَعْضُ السَّيَّارَةِ. So iltiqat, it's usually, the meaning is usually associated, as Abu Saud says, with picking up something that would otherwise come to harm or be destroyed. So he'll be saved from destruction by, by some travelers, some caravan. A sayyara, the modern word for a car, from sayr, to walk, to move. People who keep traveling, who are constantly traveling, they'll pick him up. So if they pick him up, they'll take him with them. They'll see he's got no one. Did they care about what would happen to him afterwards? Would they harm him, or would they enslave him or sell him? They didn't care. The brothers, they must have known what's going on, what would happen, or they must have had some inkling, but they didn't care. But at least in this way, whoever suggested this out of the brothers, he ensured that he wasn't killed. So يلتقطه بعد السيارة in kuntum fa'ilin, if you really are. And it seems like he might have been a bit scared from the rest of them, so he didn't say no, don't kill him outright, but he gave, after saying don't kill him, he gave a suggestion which in their mind would be equally acceptable, in the sense that Yusuf would not be there in their life, and they could get away with not killing him. So then Allah says, قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف وإنا له لناصحون. They said, oh, our father, why do you not trust us with Joseph, although we truly wish him well? Look at this. So they've agreed on this. As I said, extraneous details are not mentioned. It's, as soon as you read this, they've come to an agreement. So the scene moves again. As one of the ulama has said, that even the stories of the Quran, it says that even like modern cinema, like filmmaking, and how to move from one scene to another, the Quran did it first. And some have a theory that it was there translated from the text, from the Tafsir al-Fanni, the artistic, the stylistic depiction in the Quran. It then moved and eventually found its way into this modern cinema and all that. Anyway, regardless, that's not the point. It's a factor that contributes to the beauty of the Quran, that shows that it's from God. But the guidance element is what we want. And so here they go, qalu, they said, Ya Abana. And in this you can almost feel their emotion, and they don't really feel it, but they're putting on a sense of, oh, our dear beloved father, Ya Abana, and you're our father. And Ya, for someone who's either far away, so they're showing respect, high in rank. And there's also this kind of like, you're distant from us, Ya Abana, you don't really treat us like your sons. You don't trust us with Yusuf. Ya Abana, Malak, what's wrong with you? Look at this statement. It's not a statement of criticism, overt criticism. It's as though they're implying that we're fine, we haven't done anything wrong, but there's something up with you. That why is it you're not trusting us with Yusuf? What's wrong with you? We're fine. Yusuf will be all right with us. Malak, yeah, our dear father. And clearly using, what is this? It's emotional, manipulation. And there's so many lessons in this. Just how do people who want to manipulate you, how do they approach? And look, what did they say? Send Yusuf with us. No, that wasn't the attack. Rather, what they did is that in the address, they were trying to make it seem to Sayyidina Yaqub that he's in the wrong. And normally, no one wants to be in the wrong, and no one wants to seem like in the wrong. I mean, it's clear Sayyidina Yaqub saw this, but they knew he wouldn't say outright, I don't trust you. Because clearly, this would lead to tensions in their relationship. I mean, he'd be justified in saying it because he has concerns, but he wouldn't say it. So they were trying to manipulate the events through this tactic. So he won't say that, so he'll have to give another reason. We'll then exploit that, we'll use that, and we'll get him to send us Yusuf. Ya Abana, Malak la ta'manna ala Yusuf. So when you study tajweed, you do this. There's a couple of ways of reciting it, with the ishmam. And la ta'manuna, the la ta. So there's a idgham here, la ta'manna. So you recite it as la, you do something with your lips, right? La ta'manna. Or because there's a idgham of the two noons, the first noon, you recite it with a dhamma, but it lasts about a third of the normal duration. So instead of saying la ta'manuna, it's la ta'manuna, la ta'manuna. Anyway, so in tajweed. So, Malak la ta'manna ala Yusuf. Why don't you trust us with Yusuf? Allah. So, you don't let us have, control of Yusuf. Not control, but you don't allow us to be his guardians. You don't allow us to be in a situation where we're, responsible for him, to look after him. Wa inna lahu lanasihun. They use this rhetorical question, and then they say, whilst this is our state. So very, very sly way of putting the idea across to him. So wa inna, nominal sentence, highly emphasized with inna, and then the lam, la nasihun, for further emphasis, and lahu before it. It would have been wa inna nasihuna lahu, but then the lam is added, wa inna la nasihun lahu, but then the lahu is put for ahead of it where it should be for further emphasis, right? It's like saying to someone, you're blaming me. You're saying me, you're blaming. It really heightens the focus on the word there. So, when we, truly we, without a shadow of a doubt, are people who have nush for him, we wish the very best for him, we want the very best for him, and we would look after him and protect him. All we want is his benefit. Yet you don't trust us. What's wrong with you? Can you see how he's doing it? How they've done it, and Allah expressed it in few words. All of this manipulation, how they're putting it. And so what does Sayyidina Yaqub say? No, they continue to say, "Arsilhu ma'ana ghadan yarta' wa yal'ab wa inna lahu lahafidhun." Send him with us tomorrow, so he may enjoy himself and play, and we will really watch over him. Look at this. Arsilhu ma'ana ghadan. So the word arsala, you can take it to mean allow him to go. But arsal, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, wa arsalna riyah, and I like in the context of punishment and stuff, I think the best translation would be unleash. So like if you imagine like someone's friend wants to go running to to go chase someone, and he's holding on to him. No, don't go. Irsal, arsala would mean to just let him go. And it implies that someone wants to go, but you're holding them back. Arsilhu. That's what they're saying. Yusuf wants to go with us. He wants to come spend time with his siblings and have fun with us. And it's just you're holding him back. Let him go. Yeah, literally, let him go. Not, or let go of him tomorrow. You could say it like that. But let him go with us, right, tomorrow. So they wanted to do it immediately. When people have this, when shaitan's been manipulating someone, they lose patience, because al-ajalatu min ash-shaytan, haste is from the devil. So let's get it done. Let's go. Let's take the steps. So immediately they start trying to manipulate the father. Let him go with us tomorrow. And yarta, the root word of this entails vastness. So let him come and enjoy himself, basically. But he'll eat lots of food and have lots of drink, and he'll have lots of fun. Right, let him go, and if you let him go, this is the consequence. Yarta' wa yal'ab, and he'll play a lot. He'll keep playing, he'll keep enjoying himself, eating loads. And you know how people like to go out, so they would go, to take their sheep out, to to the hills, to other places to graze. And you can't keep animals in one place because then the pasture finishes. So you take them, along a certain route or to a certain place and bring them back. And the animals need to be out. And so what people do when they're out in nature and just allowing the sheep to graze, so they would take food like people go on a picnic. It's just nice to be outside in the sun, and then they'll just eat some food and other things. And sometimes people, yeah, like siblings or whatever, they'll play games, right? Or they race with each other or whatever. And as we see, especially young men, young men are very physical in their display of friendship. Like they'll punch each other, or they'll jump on each other, or play fighting or running or jumping or climbing things. So we'll see that they're going to use the excuse of racing later. So let him go. He'll have lots of fun. He'll have lots of food and drink and enjoyment, and he'll play a lot. And so they're really painting this picture of Yusuf will have fun. He wants to go. You're preventing him, and there's no need to. Wa inna lahu lahafidhun. This is the same words Allah uses later in the Quran to say that He's going to preserve the Quran. So the words they used were really highly emphasized. So Allah's rendered them in this way here. And indeed, nominal sentence is the same thing as it happened before. Wa inna lahu lanasihun, wa inna lahu lahafidhun. Hafidhun from hifadh, to protect and prevent any sort of harm from coming to Yusuf at all. You do this, he will have lots of fun, and so it's akin to a promise. This we for him will be the best protectors. It's all we'll be his protectors. We're not going to do anything else. We're not going to think about anything else. That's our role. We're his protectors. That's what they're going to say. Sayyidina Yaqub was hesitant, so he gave them, he said to them, look, I don't want him to go because it saddens me. And he expressed a concern. And what they would do is, they've already accused him of not trusting them, and there's something wrong with him for doing that. And they accused, and they said that they implied Yusuf wants to go, and we would protect him in the best way. So they'll try and work their way around this as well. Remember, he has to say in a way not to cause conflict as well. So look how they do it. He said, قال إني ليحزنني أن تذهبوا به وأخاف أن يأكله الذئب وأنتم عنه غافلون. He responded, it would truly sadden me if you took him away from me, and I fear that a wolf may devour him while you are negligent of him. قال, he responded. Whenever there's قال with verse after verse with different people, it's a direct conversation. So he responded, Inni, nominal sentence, inna, really highlighting this fact. Inni layahzununi an tadhhabu bihi. He said, your taking him will really sadden me. And nominal sentence really highlighting, truly look, so his inni, it's not as if they're denying it, they don't care, but it's like he's showing his deep emotion here. Look, I'd be really saddened. So he's an old man at this time, alayhi salatu wasalam, and he shows he has deep affection for Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. And people like when people are elderly, they like to have a certain person around for comfort and support. And so he's saying, look, if you take him, it will make me really sad. I don't like being away from him. Right? He brings me solace and comfort. This must have really also affected them, right? And they must have got angry with it, but they must have held it in, as some of the ulama have suggested. But he said, Inni la yahzununi, like I'd be really saddened if you took him. So had they any real care or compassion, they'd say, okay, yeah, all right, we understand. We'll leave him. We don't want you to feel sad. Inni la yahzununi an tadhhabu bihi. It'd make me really sad if you took him. Wa inni akhafu, and I'm afraid It's not just that I don't like being parted from him. I'm afraid that a wolf will eat him. أن يأكله الذئب. Uh, it seemed like the area they lived in were was plagued by a lot of wolves. There were a lot of wolves in the area, and wolves by their nature are deceptive. You've heard the saying, a wolf in sheep's clothing. So wolves are deceptive by their nature. So he said that he's not overtly accusing them, right? He said وإني أخاف sorry وأخاف أن يأكله الذئب, and I'm afraid that a wolf will eat him. And they use this as the excuse, as we'll see, that a wolf will eat him, devour him. وأنتم عنه غافلون, and when you are anhu, regarding Yusuf, are heedless, right? You are just unaware of him. Something might distract you, you might be busy with something, and whilst you're away, a wolf might come and eat him. A small boy, maybe a big large wolf can come and bite someone and drag them away, or something like that. And I mean, in all honesty, a young boy who's maybe 8 years old, a boy like that, he'd probably weigh less than an adult sheep. And then I think it would be easier for someone of that size to be taken away by a wolf. So he'd probably be like the prime target if for a wolf. So he said, I'd be saddened, and I'm afraid. There's a worry, there's a concern, and this is good parenting here, not to send a young defenseless child out. Yes, they're older and they could probably fight off a wolf individually and collectively, but someone who individually can't fight off a wolf, yeah, he'd be protected by the group, but there's still that chance. There's still a chance. So good parenting here from Sayyidina Yaqub, that he doesn't want to send him out in such a situation. And he's saying, and whilst you're heedless, not that you're going to neglect him or you're going to harm him or you're going to put him in harm's way. He's saying, I feel sad when he's away, and I wouldn't want something to happen to make you heedless of him, and then for him to be harmed in such a way. So he hasn't really done anything or said anything that's objectionable. They might have felt a bit of a pang when they said he's be pained by separation, but that's their jealousy and caused by shaitan. But so he hasn't done or said anything to really give them any reason to push back. But what do they say? No, their intent on it. So they say, قالوا لئن أكله الذئب ونحن عصبة إنا إذا لخاسرون. Look how much emphasizing they're doing. And if they said if a wolf were to devour him despite our strong group, then we would certainly be losers. What they're doing is they're comparing themselves to like a businessman, someone who goes into business, and the point of business is to make a profit, but he makes a loss. Let's say he loses all of his capital. He's a khasir, someone who's truly lost out on all of this. So they said, if this is the case, then what good are we? We're completely worthless. We'd be our lives would be pointless if a wolf was to get to him when we are there. وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ, when we are this group of many strong, powerful men. If we're like this and a wolf can get to him, then what good are we? So it's like they're saying that we're going to look after him and no harm will come to him. We'd be completely worthless. Our lives would be worthless. And they obviously Sayyidina Yaqub won't affirm that. Won't say to them, no, yeah, you are worthless or anything like that. So it's once again, a very loaded statement, which with lots of implications, that that we are going to look after him and nothing's going to come to him, no harm's going to come to him. One of the implications of usba is like a group of sticks tied up together. So there we are. We're gonna, we support each other, we strengthen each other. and we won't let anything happen to him. If it was to happen, we'd be people that who are, the worst. Well, not the worst isn't implied, but people who are truly losers will have lost out on our brother. And they didn't respond to the first statement, did they? When he said the first thing he said about, this would cause me pain, because clearly that will have, that upset them. So they didn't even want to address that. So yeah, so basically, after all of this manipulation, all of this, they've put Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam in a position where he will have felt he has to send Yusuf with them. There's no justifiable. I mean, he wouldn't say you're all jealous of him. That would ruin the relationship. And sometimes, I mean, ultimately, it's a case of Allah has a plan, and sometimes anything you do won't benefit. Allah wanted this to happen, so the journey of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam could start. So that's how it worked out. So Allah wanted it. So Sayyidina Yaqub, agreed, and he sent him with them the next day, and we'll continue from this point, and we'll see what happened next. Allah bless you all. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.